Hey everyone, I'm Gary, a spruce grouse that lives within the conifer forests of Mount Desert Island. Now you might be asking yourself, where is Mount Desert Island? Well, I'd be happy to show you. Now as you can see, we're looking at the great state of Maine in the United States. Mount Desert Island is over here. Mount Desert Island is the southern extent of my species range, and it's where part of the population lives. As you can see here is Mount Desert Island. Wherever you see a dot, you're looking at large patches of coniferous habitat on the island. As you can see, the habitat my species lives in is found both on private land and within Acadian National Park. 25 years ago, 3 gentlemen by the names of Scott Whitcomb, Bruce Connery, and Fred Servello surveyed these 18 plots looking for spruce grouse. They wanted to determine our occupancy and our abundance. In other words, they wanted to know how many spruce grouse were on the island and where we lived. Back then, they found 8 sites that were home to my species. In 2017, a University of Maine senior, Chris Gilbert, decided to return to these 18 sites to see if my species' occupancy and abundance had changed. After surveying the plots, Chris found that only 4 sites were now occupied. Not only did Chris find that there were places on the island in which my species lived, but he also found that the spruce grouse abundance had gotten worse as well. Back in 1993, the last year of the Whitcomb et al. Study, the research team was able to find 39 spruce grouse. After Chris did his surveys in 2017, he was only able to find 7 spruce grouse. After 25 years, what happened to the spruce grouse of Mount Desert Island? In order to answer this question, let's talk to the human that has most recently worked with us, Chris Gilbert. Thanks for meeting with me, Chris. I was wondering if you could answer a few questions about the spruce grouse on Mount Desert Island.
Sure thing, Gary. What would you like to know?
Well, I was wondering if you could tell us why you think there aren't as many spruce grouse anymore on Mount Desert Island.
Well, that's a really good question, Gary, and there could be a lot of reasons why your populations aren't doing so well. But one of my first guesses would be it has to do with land use change. Spruce grouse like to live in coniferous forests that are about 10 acres or larger, and where they have plenty of horizontal cover. This means, although there are a lot of trees in the canopy, there are also a lot of shrubs and younger trees close to the ground in which you guys can hide under. When the habitat changes and the forest no longer resembles this, spruce grouse populations can no longer be supported. Seeing how your habitat was found both on private land and in the national park, the different forest management practices are affecting your populations. Sometimes on private land, the landowners prefer to remove the patches of forest you live in for development or forestry practices. As you can see here, there aren't really any more trees that you guys can hide under or obtain food from. This area couldn't even support a population of you guys anymore due to habitat loss. Now, how about we take a look at Acadian National Park? You would think that seeing how your habitat is safe from development, that you guys should be perfectly fine seeing how there's no forest management going on. But there actually is. The management practice here is called no practice. As you can see, there isn't really much horizontal cover anymore, just a lot of tall canopy trees. Seeing how there haven't been any disturbances to this forest, the understory trees have been grown up, and the shade is now so thick up top that there's no room to grow for plants below. One study that was recently done by a UMaine PhD student in Stephen Dunham found that the best spruce grouse habitat is found in forests that are managed in a way which will still allow for some canopy cover, as well as room for understory trees and shrubs to grow as well.
Wow, thanks Chris for the information on what happened to the spruce grouse. I hope the information you provided, along with the spruce grouse abundance data, can be used as a great example to let people know how land use change can affect wildlife populations.
Oh, anytime, Gary, and I hope it does too. Thanks for stopping by.